This is the Happy Families podcast. Firstborns earn more money than later born kids. They study longer. They have better mental health than their younger siblings. And the later you're born, the worse it gets. For decades, nobody could explain why. Now, new research following 1.2 million Danish children has just cracked the birth order code. And the answer is not what anyone expected. It's not favouritism. It's not personality. Half of it is germs. Today, why birth order leaves a mark and the very fixable things that parents can do about it. This is the Happy Families podcast, real parenting solutions every day, Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. Kylie, it's a doctor's desk episode that is fascinating to me about birth order.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop you right there because you have been very, very vocal over the years about your absolute disbelief that birth order has any impact on our children.
So I've never said it has no impact. I've said that the impacts are overstated. And all of those books that are out there about how firstborns are the leaders and the youngest are the coddled ones and the middle children get lost, there's really not much, if any, evidence to support any of that sort of stuff. But there is pretty good evidence on a range of other things like who's most likely to earn more money, who's more likely to live longer, that kind of stuff.
Well, maybe my brain got muddled up because I clearly am not earning enough money.
You are the firstborn. Do you have a job other than doing this podcast with me?
No.
Okay.
My point.
Podcaster is not well, there are a few people in the world that are making a lot of money from podcasting. We do it because we love it and we know it's helpful. Is that not payment enough for you?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Not if this research is suggesting that I should be earning way more. All right, let's get serious. What is the research telling us now?
Okay, so here's the overview. There was a big study in 2005. And what it found is that younger siblings do worse than firstborns on lifetime earnings, on education, and on mental health. Now, I'm not going to get you to say this out loud.
Well, I was just thinking.
But do the checklist against you and any siblings that you have, and I'm doing it the same for me. In terms of lifetime earnings, in terms of who's the most educated.
Can we combine?
And mental health. I want to tread really carefully here, but there is research that points in that direction. You can make your own self-assessment based on what's happening in your family. Oh, incidentally, this isn't a guarantee. It's not saying every firstborn child's going to do better than their siblings. Okay, so
because clearly,
because I'm the firstborn as well. But so if you're listening to this and you're a later born child, and you're like, I smashed my big brother or my sister, that's fine.
Good on you.
Look, you beat the odds. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And for women, the research shows as well, younger siblings do worse when it comes to teen pregnancy rates. And every step down the birth order, the outcomes slide.
Okay, so I am ridiculously curious because you've articulated very clearly that it has nothing to do with favouritism. It's not because mum and dad spent more time with the firstborn and gave them more quality education opportunities.
Right.
So what is it?
Yeah. So
you said germs.
One of the biggest theories has always been around parental investment in the child.
Yeah. Well, I know just from personal experience with number one, I didn't have anyone else to worry about.
Yeah.
So I got to give her all of my time. And then once the next 2 and 3 came along, because they happened pretty fast, a
lot less investment. I'm very worried about children 5 and 6 in our family. I'm just going to say.
It wasn't because I didn't want to, though.
No. It was just
lack of
you're
capacity.
Constrained. Yeah, totally. So there's an economist by the name of Joe Price, 2008, did a big study on firstborns, found that they get 20 to 30 minutes more per day of quality time than second-born children at the same age.
Well, our first probably steals that every day as well.
Yeah, so that compounds.
Even now, she's 27.
You do the maths on that, though. That compounds to 3,000 extra hours of reading and playing and talking by the time that child is just 13. So that's like a year of full-time parenting that the younger child never receives.
But you're saying that actually doesn't have anything to do with this?
Well, no, I'm not saying it doesn't have anything to do with it. I think that it's a really strong hypothesis and it's worthy of exploration, and that's what scientists have been doing.
It's interesting you say that, and I'm thinking about how so often parents actually have a better relationship with the eldest child.
Do they?
Communication-wise.
Okay.
They talk more. They spend more time together.
Maybe
in
they
general, like as they get older.
I haven't seen any data on that because researching favourites is fraught.
No, but I don't think it's a favourite thing. I honestly, I don't think it's a favouritism thing.
Just identifying the better relationship.
No, I think it's a direct result of spending more time with that person.
So here's the second explanation. And this is what today's Doctor's Desk is really all about. Brand new study in American Economic Review tracked 1.2 million Danish kids that were born since 1980.
So this is a big study.
Massive. Using government records. So we're looking at...
So they haven't made anything up.
No, this is objective data. This isn't me saying, hey, how do you feel?
Yes.
Subjectively, this is objective data. And here's what they found. Respiratory infections in the first year of life. So we're talking about RSV. We actually had some advertising from the government about RSV on the podcast a little while ago, and we got bagged for it. But the research on this is actually really, really solid. RSV and flu, mostly brought home by older siblings, predicted lower earnings, less education, and worse mental health decades later. So younger siblings were 2 to 3 times more likely to be hospitalized with respiratory illnesses in year 1. The gap vanishes once both kids are in some kind of group care or daycare or early learning setting. So it seems like the older sibling is the delivery system for illness. And these researchers are suggesting that the birth order differences...
But the older child's still sick because they're carrying it.
Right, but the older child has a much less compromised immune system because they're older, they're stronger, they're more developed, they're more capable, and so therefore they're less likely to be negatively impacted by it. Let me go through a couple of other things here. Early disease exposure explains half or more of the entire birth order gap, maybe up to 70% of the income gap, and then the time with parents hypothesis probably explains the rest. And
But if you're sick all the time, you would expect that you'd spend more time with mum.
Well, yes, but, and this is a really important but, one of the researchers identified that about 85% of a young infant's calories go to building the brain. And if you have a serious infection, it's going to divert those resources to fighting illnesses at exactly the moment when those resources are supposed to be going to building the brain. The first 6 months of life are specifically the most critical window. Any significant exposure to illness then is going to do between 2 and 3 times the damage of exposure in the second half of that child's first year. So probably the last thing before we take a break and then talk about what this means and the questions that it answers, I just want to reframe this briefly. Small numbers, like maybe a 1% income dip, are going to hide a distribution when most kids are completely recovering. And we're talking about population averages. So you get small numbers and it's like, oh my goodness, what's happening here? We're not saying that if you got sick in the first year of life, that this is your destiny. What we're highlighting is that the gaps that are appearing, it seems like there's a credible hypothesis from this research that it may actually be germ and illness related, much more than it's related to anything else that's going on in the house, personality, temperament, all that kind of stuff. So after the break, let's answer some key questions about the destiny associated with birth order. Why do firstborns win? We need to talk about that and what we can do to protect our baby. That in a sec. Stay with us. We're back. It's the Happy Families podcast talking about birth order today.
Okay, so I'm just putting it out there. You make me feel really bad as the firstborn. You're saying that my siblings' issues are a direct result of me bringing germs home into the house as a young kid.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I'm sure somebody's thinking it.
Well, maybe I'm saying it a little bit. So remember, 50 to 70% is related to potentially that, and the rest of it is your parents' investment in younger siblings.
We have one granddaughter,
yes,
and she has made all of us sick multiple times.
Here's what I want you to know: birth order is not the destiny. Not it's like where you're born in the family. That's the headline, but the two main drivers.
So just don't have a firstborn. Is that,
right?
Is that it?
Just have later born.
Okay, let's get a bit serious. I know I'm hijacking your whole podcast here. What can we do about this when it would seem that our younger children are actually at a disadvantage, but you are suggesting that maybe not.
Well, I think younger children technically have the advantage. Older parents, more economic resources, all that sort of stuff. But firstborns are consistently winning. So then the firstborns, even though parents are usually less wealthy, less experienced, less likely to really be there, the data says none of it outweighs 3,000 lost hours and a first-year immune system that's under siege. I think that that's really what we're getting at here. All of those extra hours that the kids are not getting with their parents, 3,000 hours of reading and playing, and that's huge. And that first-year immune system situation, that's the thing.
So we bubble our firstborn children up until our second and subsequent babies are a year old. Is that what we have to do?
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like.
I have to wrap my head around this.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like.
So the idea, so I have noticed with this generation of parents that mums are very reluctant to hand over brand new babies.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like other people kissing them or wrapping them up and, giving them big cuddles and things. And this research would actually support that.
Yeah, the researchers make 4 suggestions. Number 1, immunisations on schedule. That includes RSV, flu, whooping cough vaccinations in pregnancy, because that is going to give you protection for your newborn. Breastfeeding, if you can. I know that there's a lot of questions around this. Not everyone can do all these things, but breastfeeding is massively, massively protective. In the Danish study, it was so powerful. They said that sustained breastfeeding eliminated the excess hospitalization risk for high exposure younger siblings entirely. And they also recommend, this one's going to sound so boring, hello COVID, boring old hygiene. Wash hands, especially when the big kids come home, daycare clothes off, 6 siblings have to be kept away from the newborn, especially in those first 6 months of life. That's kind of it.
Well, I guess the great news is that all of those things are completely doable. Any parent can tackle those 3 things. But I am curious about the time difference, the deficit between the eldest getting so many more hours investment from a parent compared to younger children.
I said 4 things and I only said 3 because they were related to health. The 4th thing is trying to be fair in terms of your allocation of time. The more time you can give your young kids, the better. But I think we've got to recognise the constraints around that. So being fair across time, like our youngest now, she's one of only a couple of kids at home requiring time of us. So she's getting probably more time than any of the other kids have ever had. So, but she didn't get nearly as much time when she was younger. So we're trying to pull it all together. You know what? Family life can be really, really tricky.
I think if you sit there with a scorebook and you try and, make sure that you're allocating equal time and resources to each child, you're going to drive yourself insane and it's going to be less productive.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is just trying to be available for your children when they need you and allocating special one-on-one time.
That's about it. Your youngest child is not doomed. Your eldest is not blessed. But the invisible defaults of family life are probably going to tilt the table towards your eldest and the resources that they can get access to. Really, what this evidence says is vaccinate, breastfeed if you can, wash the big kids' hands, and read to your youngest as if she's your eldest, as if she's your first one. It seems like the birth order effect is real, but we have a lot of it in control, like Kylie said. We're back tomorrow with I'll Do Better Tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us for this conversation. Love to know what you think. Jump onto our socials and tell us. The Happy Families podcast, audio and sound, Justin Rule on Bridge Media, admin and other support from Mim Hammonds. If you'd like more info to make your family happier, you'll find it at happyfamilies.com.au.